Good evening, everybody. The Music Fan is back, bringing smiles to the faces, knowledge to the people, and most importantly, music to the masses. And it is time, baby. We are here with the final video of 2018. I'm back with my final Are You In for the Year? And it's going to be a good short one. So strap in. I am going to start the timer, and here we are going. So, tonight, I am taking a look at Sons of Kemet's newest album entitled Your Queen is a Reptile. For those of you who don't know Sons of Kemet, they are a jazz group from London. Members include Shabaka Hutchins on sax and clarinet, Theon Cross on tuba, Tom Skinner on drums, and Seb Rochford on drums. The previous albums include Burn in 2013 and Lest We Forget What We Came Here to Do in 2015. So like Daughters and Zeal and Ardor, this is another band that I didn't know of until I watched a review on this album from The Needle Drop. And he was very high on it, as well as a lot of people. This album is ranking very high on the top 50 on Album of the Year, and is the second best jazz album of 2018. The only one that I'm seeing a little bit higher is Kamasi Washington's album, and that's also a great one on itself if you got 2.5 hours to listen to it. But I was interested in checking them out, seeing the different quartet idea. You don't usually see a quartet which only has saxophone, tuba, and drums. So I wanted to check them out, and here are my thoughts. It's a really cool album. It's really fascinating how these instruments interplay with each other. Mostly you have the saxophone and the clarinet as the lead instrument, and then the tuba does get some time to shine, but it's usually either a harmony idea or a bass idea. And then you get both Skinner and Rochford on drums, and the cool thing about it is most of this album focuses more on the African ideas of jazz. A little quick history for you guys. So basically, when you think of jazz, there are African ideals and European ideals that form together to create the ideas of jazz. You get a lot of the instrumentation of European ideas, so like saxophone, trumpet, tuba, trombone. All those are more Western ideas / European ideas. You also get more of the harmonic nature of there. So a lot of these 2-5-1 progressions or bluesy progressions that you see are mixtures of American, but mostly also European ideas. And then from the African side, you get more of the polyrhythms, which are like multiple layerings of different drum ideas, as well as the offbeat ideas. Rather than a lot of straight eighth ideas, you get more of the swung eighths from a lot of the African ideals. So you get the mixtures of the rhythms with the harmonic ideals and the instrumentation of European music, and you put those together, you basically get a lot of the ideas of what jazz were formed. A lot of it also comes from slave songs and call and responses of the time of pre-Civil War America. Those ideas are translated into blues, which then from there you get are then translated into jazz because of the changing of chord progressions, and instead of doing a 1 to a 4 to a 5, you get a 1 and then a 2-5-1, and the rest is history. That's a little bit of a dumbing down of it, but that's the basic ideas of what you get from each side of music forming into jazz. And this particular one focuses more on the African side. You get a lot more of these polyrhythms and a lot of very interesting drumming on every song. There isn't a song on there that doesn't make the song. Whether it's a faster paced song or a slower song, there's a lot of great drumming on this whole entire album. On the flip side though, you don't get a lot of that harmonic driven ideas. You don't get a lot of chord progressions. You get a lot more of these more simplistic melodies that repeat themselves. And that can be great and can also be bad depending on what song you're looking at. For example, when you have these faster paced songs with a little bit more ideas and a little bit more of a bass line with the tuba that goes somewhere, you get some really great songs. For example, My Queen is Harriet Tubman has a lot of those ideals. Same with My Queen is Albertina Sisulu, and also My Queen is Ya Asintawa. Hopefully I got that right. The other thing that you're going to notice on this album is that all of these songs are based off of African American women who have fought for better the lives of African American people everywhere. Off the bat, you get My Queen is Ada Eastman, who is the only person that isn't a famous person in history that has helped out on this album. Ada Eastman is Hutchings' great-grandmother from Barbados who helped her whole entire family get to where they are now. And you also get My Queen is Manny Phipps Clark, who was an American social psychologist who, along with her husband, helped focus on the development of self-consciousness in black preschool children. So the idea with this is that they ran tests with dolls and found out that African American children at the time were more keen on playing with white dolls than black dolls because of their social surroundings. And those studies were highly influential on the Brown versus Board of Education court case. You get Harriet Tubman, who was a political activist who escaped as a slave and helped other slaves escape to the north on the Underground Railroad. You get Anna Julia Cooper, who is an American author, sociologist, speaker, black liberation activist, who was and is one of the most prominent African American scholars in the United States. She was the fourth African American woman to earn a doctoral degree. You also get My Queen is Angela Davis, a political activist, academic, and author. She emerged as a prominent countercultural activist in the 1960s, working with the Communist Party USA, which she was a member until 1991, and also briefly involved in the Black Panther Party during the Civil Rights movement. Nice catch. Then you get Nanny of the Maroons, who is a Jamaican national hero. A lot of it is not really known. Textually, it's more of an oral history, but she escaped from slavery after being transported to Jamaica, and she was also eventually given land for her duties in rebelling against slavery in Jamaica. You have your queen being Ya Asantewa, the queen mother of Elisu in the Ashanti Empire, now part of modern-day Ghana. She also led the Ashanti War against British colonialism. You also get My Queen is Albertina Sisulu, a South American anti-apartheid activist and the wife of fellow activist Walter Sisulu. And finally, you also get My Queen is Doreen Lawrence, the most recent of all these people, who is a British Jamaican campaigner and mother of Stephen Lawrence, a black British teenager who was murdered in a racist attack in southeast London in 1993. So all these people are fighting for, or have fought for, rights, and it's really cool to have the narrative theme, even though maybe the music itself doesn't necessarily fit that narrative theme. I don't really know what styles are being brought from which countries or are trying to highlight certain countries. Sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't. Nanny and the Maroons is this more subdued song. It's the most subdued song on the album, and it kind of feels like a more of a subdued bolero Caribbean song. So I see it there. But other ones, it's a little bit hard for me to grasp if they're trying to go for, hey, this is where they're from, or this is their background, so we're going to use the sounds of their area, or if it's more of, we're just doing what we want. Back to the ideas of this music. So like I said, when it's fast-paced, it works very well, and when it changes ideas sporadically, it works very well. Unfortunately, one of the main issues of this album is a 9-track album that's about an hour. So when you break that down, that's about 6 minutes per song. Not usually a problem when you have some harmonic progression going through that. It with only the instrumentation that it has, if you aren't keeping the audience interested, then it kind of falls by the wayside. And some of these songs do overstay their welcome. The Doreen Lawrence one overstayed its welcome just a tiny bit, but it's saved by some spoken word poetry from Joshua Edahan. And it's one of the 2 songs on this album, as well as the My Queen is Ada Eastman, that has him speaking poetry. And it's actually cool that both of them are the intro and the outro songs. Because it kind of goes full circle with this. It starts from the beginning and it goes to the end, and it's talking about as the generations go on, there's still all this hostility and racism and classist racism towards black people, not just in the United States, not just in the Caribbean, not just in Africa, but also in London. And his spoken word poetry are about the fact that the government itself doesn't view black people the way that it does other people, and saying that the queen that is there right now is not my queen. These are my queens, and I love the narrative of that. I think a lot of the music is really cool, and I think just the nature of all these songs are so interesting for the most part. There's something that I can grip onto for almost all these songs and enjoy every one of them. My favorites being Albertina Sisulu, Nanny and the Maroons, Harriet Tubman, and Ada Eastman. I think, and even Mammy Philip Clark's. I think all 5 of those are very interesting. I think once you get to the other 4, there's some parts that don't work as well or aren't as interesting. The least favorite of mine being Anna Julia Cooper. I don't think it does enough, and there's some very grating monotone lines on there that just don't really work for me that well. But it's not a bad song. It just, the experimentation that they do with this song just doesn't work for me. Angela Davis is also one of the ones that isn't as great, but it does at least get faster at the end to make up for the slower stuff and the not as interesting ideas. All in all, though, a very interesting jazz album. If you like more of the African and more rhythmic style of playing and using the tuba and the saxophone as rhythmic ideas rather than melodic ideas, this is going to be fun. It is a good album. I don't think it's necessarily the best jazz album that I've heard this year. I think there are a couple better. But I do enjoy it, and I do come back to it, and I think you guys will like it too. If you are interested in the more world cultural jazz rather than the more Americanized jazz that we hear on a lot of standards, or even today with the more funk jazz that there's out there. If you are more of the world cultural one, this is going to be up your alley. If you're looking for something with a little bit more depth on instrumentation, it might not be for you, but at least check it out. At least try the first 3 songs, because those 3 are really cool. And try Nanny and the Maroons, because it's the most different one on there. It's the most slowed down song on there. From there, see if you like it. There's a reason why it's getting so highly praised, and I think you would like it if this is right up your alley. But again, that is my time. Thank you so much for watching. If you do enjoy this album, of course, give this video a like. Let me know what you love or hate about this album, or other albums that you want me to review in the future. And honestly, again, as I always ask, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. It would mean the world to me. If you enjoy what I'm doing and want to see more of what I do, it's just 1 click away. That's all you need. So this is the final video of 2018. Thank you so much for watching these videos throughout 2018. I hope you enjoyed it. I do apologize for the weirdness of schedule sometimes. I'm not great when it comes to that, but I always want to try to give the best product, and I hope that you enjoyed all these RU-ins that I've done, all these cover songs, all these, the 3 Digging Through Discographies that I've done, and trust me, I have plenty more where that came from. I have a whole list, and I'm just scratching the surface when it comes to that. So, thank you so much. Have a happy new year, have a happy holidays, and look out for more of me in 2019, because, my God, do we have a lot of work to do. Not just that top 50 list of 2018, I gotta start working on the top 100 albums of the 10s. But, until then, this is The Music Fan, and I am signing out.